Hey everyone, it's Harry, your host. So, if you want to understand why the ground is shifting beneath your feet right now, don't look at the White House press briefing room. Don't look at the angry tweets flying out of Mar-a-Lago at 3 in the morning. Look at the dirt. Look at the dirt in Tennessee that was supposed to be a 7 billion battery plant. And then look at the dirt in Ontario, Canada, where that plant is actually going to be built. This isn't just a factory moving. This is a geopolitical earthquake. For 3 years, Donald Trump has told you that he is the protector of American industry. He told you that tariffs were a magic wand. He told you that if he threatened the world enough, the world would bend the knee and bring the jobs back. Well, the world just called his bluff. Volkswagen, the second largest automaker on the planet, just looked at Donald Trump's America, and then they looked at Mark Carney's Canada, and they made a choice that is going to haunt the Republican Party for a decade. They didn't choose the loud threats. They chose the quiet stability. While Trump was busy threatening a 25% tax on everything that crosses the border, Mark Carney was busy signing the paperwork on the biggest industrial theft of the 21st century. Carney didn't scream. He didn't threaten trade wars. He simply opened the door when Trump slammed his shut. And now thousands of high-paying manufacturing jobs that were promised to American workers, are heading north. In the next 40 minutes, I'm going to take you inside the room where this deal happened. I'm going to show you the leaked memos that prove U.S. CEOs are terrified of their own president. I'm going to show you why Mark Carney is playing 4D chess while Trump is flipping over the checkerboard. And I'm going to explain why this isn't just about cars. It's about your money. It's about the price of everything you buy. And it's about the terrifying realization that America is no longer the safest place to do business. You are watching history pivot, and you are watching it happen in real time. Let's strip away the noise and look at exactly what happened. At 8 a.m. this morning, Volkswagen Group released a press statement that was only 3 paragraphs long, but it hit Washington like a tactical nuke. For months, the plan was locked in. Volkswagen was going to expand their footprint in the American South. It was a done deal. Tax incentives were ready. Governors were already celebrating. It was supposed to be the crown jewel of Trump's reindustrialization promise. But then came the tariffs. 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump announced via Truth Social that he was considering a blanket 25% tariff on all imported vehicle components, including those from key European allies, unless they met impossible new demands. He called it leverage. He said he was squeezing them. He squeezed them. All right, he squeezed them right out of the country. This morning, Volkswagen announced they are scrapping the U.S. expansion plans immediately. Instead, they are breaking ground on a massive 7 billion Gigafactory in Ontario, Canada. Why? The press release was polite, but if you read between the lines, it was savage. They cited predictability, adherence to international trade law, and strategic stability. That is corporate speak for. We cannot build a factory in a country run by a guy who wakes up and changes the laws based on his mood. And here is the kicker. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, didn't just catch this rebound by luck. He orchestrated it. Sources inside Ottawa are reporting that Carney has been back-channeling with German industrial leaders for months. While Trump was on stage at rallies shouting about walls and taxes, Carney, the former central banker, the man who speaks the language of global finance fluently, was on the phone. He wasn't offering them zero taxes. He wasn't offering them free money. He was offering them something much more valuable. He was offering them sanity. He told them, "Come to Canada. We follow the rules. We have access to the U.S. market through the USMCA trade deal, and we have a government that doesn't govern by tweet." And it worked. This is a humiliation for the Trump White House. You have to understand the scale of this. This is the industrial equivalent of a marriage proposal being rejected at the altar on live TV. Trump promised that tariffs would force companies to build in America. The theory was, if you want to sell here, you have to build here. But Volkswagen just proved that theory wrong. They decided that building in America under Trump is simply too risky. They would rather build in Canada, a country that respects the rule of law, and take their chances shipping the cars south rather than risk having their supply chains held hostage by a president who treats global trade like a mafia shakedown. So, Who did what? Trump threatened. Carney listened. Volkswagen moved. And the American worker, they got left holding the bag. We don't do speculation here. We do evidence. Let's look at the receipts that prove this wasn't an accident. It was a reaction to chaos. Receipt 1, the tariff tantrum draft. Let's go back to the source of the rot. 3 weeks ago, a draft executive order leaked from the Oval Office. We covered it on this channel. It detailed a plan to revoke foreign trade zone status for European automakers operating in the South if their home countries didn't lower their own tariffs on American corn and beef. Think about that. Trump was threatening to tax the parts Volkswagen needs to build cars in Tennessee in order to sell more beef to Berlin. It's clumsy. It's a blunt instrument. And for a company like VW, which relies on a global supply chain where parts cross borders 5 or 6 times before a car is finished, that threat is poison. You cannot invest $7 billion in a factory if you don't know the price of your steel from 1 week to the next. That leaked draft was the starting gun for the exodus. It told every CEO in the world, your business model is now a bargaining chip for my political whims. Receipt 2. The Karn-Schultz communique. Now look at this. This is a diplomatic cable summary from a meeting between Mark Carney and German leadership last month. The language here is striking. Carney outlines a North American stability corridor. He explicitly markets Canada not just as a neighbor to the U.S., but as a firewall against U.S. volatility. He highlights Canada's critical mineral strategy. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, all located in the Canadian Shield, all essential for batteries. And he guarantees that Canada will not impose retroactive tariffs on allied nations. Do you see the contrast? Trump is offering threats. Carney is offering a supply chain guarantee. Carney isn't playing the nice guy. He is playing the smart guy. He knows that German industry is desperate for energy and resources, and they are terrified of China and Russia. They need North America, but they are scared of Trump. Carney positioned Canada as the only logical answer. All the resources of North America with none of the political risk of Washington. Receipt 3, the market reaction. Money doesn't lie. Look at the markets. The moment this news broke, the Canadian dollar spiked. Why? Because foreign capital is flowing into Canada. Investors see a $7 billion project and they see growth. They see jobs in construction, logistics, engineering. Now, look at the U.S. auto sector. Ford and GM took a hit. Why? Because the market realizes that if V. Bush is leaving, the parts suppliers might follow. If the parts suppliers move to Canada to be near the new VW Gigafactory, then Ford and GM in Michigan have to pay more to ship those parts back down south. By scaring away VW, Trump didn't just lose one factory, he damaged the ecosystem. He made it more expensive to build cars in Detroit because the gravity of the industry just shifted to Ontario. And finally, look at the reaction from the United Auto Workers, UAW. Their leadership issued a blistering statement this morning, saying, quote, "Reckless trade wars are not bringing jobs back. They are sending our future across the border." That is the sound of the Rust Belt, realizing they've been conned. Donald Trump has operated on one core belief his entire life. If you squeeze people hard enough, they break. It worked in New York real estate. It worked in the chaotic primaries of 2016. But running the global economy isn't like bullying a drywall contractor in Atlantic City. Trump is losing control because he doesn't understand that the world has options. When he threatens a 25% tariff, he assumes VW has nowhere else to go. He assumes the U.S. market is so big, so essential that companies will eat the cost and kiss the ring. But Canada is right there. Canada offers duty-free access to the U.S. market under the USMCA, a treaty Trump himself signed. He built the back door that Carney is now walking through. Trump is trapped in a loop of his own making. 1, he threatens a tariff to look strong. 2, business gets scared of the cost. 3, business looks for a loophole. 4, Mark Carney presents Canada as the loophole. 5, the business moves. 6, Trump gets angrier and threatens more tariffs. It's a death spiral. And watch how he's reacting today. He's not reviewing his policy. He's not calling a summit to reassure investors. He's doubling down. He's already tweeting about traders and weak Canada. He's threatening to tear up the USMCA. But here is why that is an empty threat, and he knows it. If he tears up the trade deal with Canada, the US economy collapses. Period. Canada is the #1 customer for 30 US states. You cut off Canada, you destroy the American agriculture sector, the energy sector, and the banking sector overnight. He can't do it. And Mark Carney knows he can't do it. So Trump is screaming at the clouds while the excavators in Ontario are digging the foundation. He is losing control because he is predictable. Every world leader has his playbook now. They know if they wait him out or if they sidestep him, he trips over his own laces. The terrifying part for you if you live in the US is that while he's flailing, the capital is leaving. Factories take years to build. Once VW pours that concrete in Ontario, they aren't coming back to Tennessee next year. That money is gone for a generation. This isn't a temporary dip. This is a permanent rewiring of the North American economy driven by the fact that the President of the United States has become the single biggest risk factor to doing business in the United States. Now, let's talk about the man on the other side of the border, Mark Carney. You have to understand, Carney isn't a politician in the way Trump is a politician. Trump is a showman. Carney is a mechanic. He's a technocrat. He ran the Bank of England. He ran the Bank of Canada. He understands the plumbing of the global financial system better than almost anyone alive. While Trump is playing to the crowd, Carney is playing to the boardrooms. Carney's strategy is what political scientists call the green fortress. He knows Canada can't compete with the US on sheer size. The US has 10 times the population, but Canada can compete on quality. Carney is selling Canada as the adult in the room. His pitch to Volkswagen wasn't emotional. It was mathematical. He laid out the cost of Trump's volatility. He calculated the risk premium of doing business in a MAGA America, and then he showed them the Canadian discount. Come here. He says, we have clean energy from hydro. We have the critical minerals you need for the batteries. We have a legal system that won't seize your assets because the Prime Minister had a bad dream. He is weaponizing stability. And notice his rhetoric. He isn't insulting Trump. He isn't engaging in a Twitter war. When asked about the VW deal this morning, Carney simply said, Canada is open for business, and we are proud to be a reliable partner in a turbulent world. A turbulent world. That is a polite Canadian dagger straight into the heart of the Trump White House. He is signaling to the world, the chaos is down there. The solution is up here. Carney is building a coalition of the willing. He's aligning Canada with Germany, with Japan, with the UK. He is creating a network of trade that bypasses the toxicity of Washington. This is a new kind of power. It's not the power of the bully. It's the power of the architect. Carney is redesigning the house while Trump is trying to burn it down. And for the average Canadian, this is a massive win. It means high-tech jobs. It means the economy is diversifying away from just selling raw oil to the US. It means Canada is becoming a manufacturing superpower in its own right, not just America's branch plant. So what does this mean for you? If you're watching this from the US, you need to be worried. This VW deal is the canary in the coal mine. If Volkswagen, a massive, slow-moving German giant, is nimble enough to dodge Trump, everyone else is too. We are looking at the potential hollowing out of the American industrial revival. Biden tried to build it up with the Inflation Reduction Act. Trump is tearing it down with tariff threats. When companies leave, the tax base leaves. When the tax base leaves, schools crumble, roads don't get fixed, and your property taxes go up to cover the difference. It means that the next time you go to buy a car, it might be more expensive because it has to be imported from Canada. And if Trump does slap a tariff on it, you pay that tax, not Volkswagen. That's the dirty secret of tariffs. Companies don't pay them. You do. If Trump puts a 25% tariff on Canadian-made VWs, the price of that car just went up $10,000 for you, and if you don't buy it, you have fewer choices. For the world, this signals the end of American economic hegemony. For 70 years, the US was the center of the solar system. everyone orbited around Washington. But Carney just proved that you can thrive by orbiting near Washington without being in Washington. He's proving that you can use proximity to the U.S. market without submitting to U.S. political insanity. This is a signal to Japan. Toyota is watching. Honda is watching. If they see VW succeed in Ontario, do you think they're going to build their next plant in Alabama, or will they look at the map, see the stability in Canada, and head north too? We are watching the Rust Belt potentially expand. And this time, it's not because of cheap labor in Mexico, it's because of smart leadership in Canada. I want you to look at one specific moment from the press conference in St. Thomas today. The CEO of Volkswagen, Oliver Blume, was standing at the podium. Behind him, the Canadian flag and the German flag were crossed. A reporter asked him, "Was the political climate in the U.S. a factor in this decision?" Usually, CEOs dodge this. They give a non-answer. Blume didn't dodge. He paused. He adjusted the microphone, and he said 5 words that should terrify the Republican Party. He said, "Capital goes where it is welcome." He didn't mention Trump's name. He didn't have to. The silence after that sentence was louder than any rally speech. Capital goes where it is welcome. And right now, thanks to Donald Trump, capital does not feel welcome in America. It feels hunted. And Mark Carney. He was standing right next to Blume. He didn't smile. He just nodded. That nod said everything. It said, "We built a shelter and they came." So where do we go from here? This is the dangerous part. This is the part where leaders usually calm it down, but Trump doesn't do calm. Scenario A, the tantrum tariff. Trump likely wakes up tomorrow and announces a punishment tax on Canadian auto parts. He tries to hurt VW for leaving. This triggers a trade war. Canada retaliates by slowing down energy exports. The U.S. Northeast sees electricity prices spike. It gets ugly fast. Scenario B, the border shutdown. Trump might order enhanced inspections at the border to slow down Canadian goods. We've seen this before. Trucks backed up for miles at the Ambassador Bridge. This hurts Canada, yes, but it cripples the U.S. auto industry within days. U.S. factories run on just in time. Delivery. If a part is stuck at the border for 48 hours, the line in Detroit stops. Trump would be strangling his own voters to spite Carney. Scenario C, the domino effect. This is the most likely long-term outcome. Other nations see Canada as the safe zone. We see a rush of investment into Ontario and Quebec. The U.S. enters a period of isolationist stagnation, while Canada enters a golden age of industrialization. Carney knows the risks. He's already preparing the Canadian economy for the shock. He's building cash reserves. He's lining up support from the EU. He is betting that Trump will bark, but he won't bite hard enough to destroy the U.S. economy. It's a calculated risk, but Carney is a man who calculates risk for a living. Volkswagen leaving the U.S. for Canada isn't just a business story. It's a verdict. It's a verdict on 2 different visions of the future. One vision is angry, reactive, and obsessed with the past. It builds walls and burns bridges. The other vision is cool, strategic, and focused on the future. It builds factories and signs treaties. Donald Trump tried to make America fearsome. Instead, he made it unreliable. Mark Carney tried to make Canada indispensable. And today, with $7 billion of German money hitting his bank account, it looks like he succeeded. The factory in Tennessee will remain a patch of dirt. The factory in Ontario will build the cars of tomorrow. And the American people are left asking, how much more is America First going to cost us? I want to hear from you. Is Mark Carney a genius for stealing this deal, or is he poking the bear? Can actually survive if Trump decides to go nuclear on the border? And if you're American, how does it feel to watch the jobs promised to you go north because of your president's ego? Let me know in the comments. I read them all. This channel is tracking the US-Canada rupture every single day. The mainstream media is asleep at the wheel on this. We are not. Click subscribe. Hit the bell. You need to know what happens next because I promise you Trump's response is coming and it won't be quiet. Stay watching.